Jordan, how long is it now with Flint? Is it 6 years now that we're going on, where we literally have a city, an actual city in this country with a poisoned water supply? And
there's more. There's lots more.
That's
the one that we know about. There's lots more.
And yet it seems to me, obviously you've spoke at length about the issues you had at the Young Turks and their refusal to really dive on this issue the way they should have. But I'm guessing that they're not the only ones that have basically given you the cold shoulder about what I think is a monumental issue when it comes to, the freedom of the press and really focusing on the issues that need to be addressed. And I think if you could speak to that, I don't think people really understand just how, sort of persona non grata you became by going for this story, and you haven't let up on it one iota.
Yeah, in a month is 7 years. So 7 years.
Wow.
I think, Jen is right. It's all over the country. I think with Flint is unique because I think a lot of people, and because the media has just so disgustingly just dropped this story, I think a lot of people don't realize it's not only about water. I mean, for the citizens of Flint, clearly it's about, clean water. But Flint is basically everything wrong with this country wrapped in one. I mean, this was a privatization scheme that obviously went terribly wrong. This was, Republicans trying to run government like a business. This is the Democratic Party doing next to nothing for the people there. It's not just a Republican thing. President Obama is greatly at fault for a lot of the things that happened there and continue to happen there. And then you have the media, which to me, I mean, I'm talking like 2 days ago. I don't want to say too much, but in January, we broke a significant story about Governor Snyder himself lying to Congress and him essentially helping cover up the deadly Legionnaire's disease that broke out in Flint. And we have a follow-up. I'll tell you, I mean, in a sane system, the hard part for a journalist would be actually getting the goods, like getting the information, not getting it published. For me and my partner, Jen, for the last 5 years, it's not easy. Obviously, we've gone back so many times. You have to build sources and build trust and just do the work. I mean, I've been there almost 20 times. But you mean
actual journalism?
Correct. But the easiest part, I don't want to say easy, but the less difficult part has actually been getting the information. The way more difficult part, I mean, I will be writing a book or doing a documentary, has been breaking through with the corporate media. And I actually think it gets back to what the original purpose of WikiLeaks. Why do you even need a WikiLeaks? Because the corporate media doesn't do its job, because whistleblowers did send stuff to corporate outlets over and over and over again, whether it be about Iraq, whether it be about domestic corruption. And corporate outlets, we say corporate media outlets because they've literally been hijacked by corporations, passed. And I can't tell you, I mean, I literally today, as we're speaking, my partner and I have evidence that evidence was destroyed in the criminal investigation, that evidence was hidden in the Flint criminal investigation, that Governor Snyder himself was involved in some of this. And I literally had NBC News the other day pass saying, it's kind of like you have a lot of information here, but this is kind of like stuff people just kind of knew already, right? And I said, well, by that standard, why bother reporting on Amazon? Everybody knows Amazon is heinous. Why bother reporting on the police and their brutality and corruption? Everybody kind of knows, right? I mean, why bother reporting on anything if the standard is, well, we kind of like assumed this. So I just pushed back to the editor, who I actually like. It wasn't her passing. It was her telling me her boss passed. And I said, listen, let's just call it what it is. This is about Flint, Michigan. NBC doesn't give a shit anymore. I think I think a huge problem we have, a lot of people talk about that we need more diversity in government or the media, in skin color and gender and all these things, which I agree with. We also need a lot more diversity in terms of socioeconomic representation, because we have way too many out of touch, upper middle class white people who, graduated Northwestern Journalism School and have never.
Hey, I went there.
I went there too.
I'm sorry.
You're right, though.
You're right, though.
You're right.
I mean, I'm not
right.
going to name names, but an editor that I've been dealing with for the last month is one of the most out of touch people I've ever dealt with. Most of the gatekeepers for corporate media have never actually stepped foot in any of these communities. They've never broken a significant story. They've never built any sources, and their whole existence is just to get a story down to 1,500 words. So, yeah, I think
you have to be able to read it on the toilet.
right. Yeah. I think honestly, I mean, you want to look at the comedian end. I saw Jimmy Fallon the other day, or I don't know if it was I don't know if it was the other day, but John Oliver kind of snuck in like a joke about, well, it wasn't a joke, it was the truth about Amazon, like basically union busting and terrible conditions. And Jimmy Fallon moved off of that lickety split. So I just, when you look at Julian Assange and why WikiLeaks was needed in the first place, it's really because we have a journalism crisis in this country. And that crisis is, if you think of it like a bank robbery, corporations have stolen the information airwaves, whether it be digital, print, whatever. Even the New York Times, which is somehow considered respectable, is a joke. I mean, 1 out of 10 stories are decent. The rest is just essentially government officials feeding them bullshit and then reprinting it as, news. So I think we're in a real crisis. And this is why, if Flint is used as kind of a microcosm as the rest of the country, this is why citizens are left to drink toxic water for 7 years, why they don't have Medicare for all in Flint, while white states that had similar issues do have universal health care. This is why nobody has been brought to justice. Nobody is in jail. Nobody's even faced a jury trial in Flint because the media simply doesn't care. And the media, honestly, if I would have been able to prove over the last 5 years to any of these outlets, Daily Beast, Mother Jones, the New York Times, Washington Post, all of these outlets that passed, every time I had something substantial, if I could have shown a connection to Trump, which one of them actually asked me, is there a connection to Trump? Russia,
of course,
or something, it would have been a lot easier. And it's really sad and scary because it's hurting. Yeah, it hurts independent outlets that can't get it out. But most of all, it hurts communities that are not having the truth exposed.
Absolutely.
John with a perfect comment. And the one thing I do want to add, and Kate, the floor
Who has the
yours.
cat?
Yeah, who's got the
It's
cat?
me. I'm so sorry. That's why I'm muted. You know what? I'm just going to let him in and then he'll stop doing that. And then you'll
I have my dog. It's okay. We're pet friendly.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.